Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, family and friends. We are back again. Now, today I'm going to skip around a bunch because I've got a number of topics that I want to touch on. And this is just going to be about the hypocrisy of MAGA, okay? I'm going to start off firing on all cylinders, okay? So, I was watching a couple of different podcasts, and obviously Jimmy Kimmel's monologue where he went pretty nuclear on Donald Trump. But some of the podcasts that were talking about it, they were making mention in that some of this stuff you may have heard. If not, and this is your first time, you're getting a dose of it now. All right, so check this out. One of the things that when they say that they voted for Trump, it was for the economy. Obviously, that was a lie. The lie detector determined that was a lie, okay? And if you thought he was going to be good on the economy, then you're a bigger fool than boo-boo. One of the other things they talk about is issues when it comes to trans or men in women's sports, right? You've heard that before. Oh, we don't want men in women's sports. We don't want men going into girls' bathrooms, right? We've all heard that. Well, why is it that was okay you elected or voted for a guy who admitted to going into women's locker rooms? Teenage women's locker rooms. You remember that when he was a pageant sponsor or whatever? He inspected the dressing rooms while girls and women were getting changed. You remember that? Okay. There's one of your little hypocrisies. We're gonna get that one out the way. All right. College. They say that the liberal college is corrupt. Blah blah blah. It's indoctrinating their children. Right. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about grown people, 18 years and older. Grown, okay? They're saying, oh, they're being indoctrinated. Well, they're already grown, for one, okay? But number two, let's talk about the accountability. Don't they pick and choose what classes that they take? Don't they pick and choose what they study? So, like, you're going to know what the course is and who the teachers are, okay? So, that's the lie determined detector to this. Determined that was a lie. Okay? And now, last but not least, okay? And now this is the one that really kind of irks me because it's very churchy, okay? This is why you have to have a separation of church and state. Okay? Because they say, oh, how he feels on abortion. All right. A women's right to choose. All right. Here's how I really feel. Why I don't care about it. Why I think in the Bible, okay, it did all sins. Where the 10 Commandments, however you want to, all sins are equal in the eyes of God. There's not one sin that is worse than another. Murder is not worse than lying. It's not worse than adultery. It's not. All these sins are equal. Okay? All of them. Any one sin will get you going to HE double hockey sticks. It'll get you going. You'll miss the ticket to the pearly gates. Any one sin. Okay? So when they say that abortion is a big deal because you're killing unborn babies, well, lying is a big deal. And you're okay with Trump lying, you know, I can't even tell you how many times per day, how many times during the campaign, but you're okay with that. You're okay with him committing adultery. You're okay with him coveting other people's wives. You're okay with him greed. You know, like that's why I have a problem with people say if you have a problem with abortion, you should have a problem with all these sins. This is exactly why there's a separation of church and state, because you can't have secular laws and churchly values. They don't mix. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. And I mean, anybody that wants to argue with it, I mean, you can. The Bible is real easy to find. Okay. Lastly, I want to say I really appreciate white people. I really do. Okay. And the reason I appreciate white people so much, because I've got 2 older brothers. And anytime that I got in trouble for something or I got a spanking, it was a Greg original, okay? And my daddy told me a long time ago, he said, son, you can learn from another fool's mistakes, or you can be the fool yourself. Okay, so that's why I really appreciate MAGA folks. I say white people, but I really appreciate MAGA folks, because I see all the mistakes that you guys make, and it teaches me not to make them. So I really appreciate you guys for that. So I want to thank you, MAGA, for being the fools to allow everybody else with common sense to learn from your mistakes. Anyway, thank you guys for watching my video, and you guys have a good afternoon.